Could you maybe talk a little bit about DSD and how it works?
DSD is about, Department for Social Development is about helping people. I suppose in many ways it resonates with what the SDLP was about. It's social justice, social equality agenda, helping people who are in need, hence the housing agenda. Whenever I came in here as Minister, I put housing as my number one priority. You ask me, why is that? There were about 38,000 people on the social housing waiting list waiting for a housing executive or a housing association house. That's people who want to rent. And there were many young people who wanted to get on the housing ladder, people a few years older than yourselves, but because of prices and because of their level of income, and couldn't get onto the housing ladder. So I wanted to tackle that and wanted to ensure that they were able to stay in the housing ladder. And the other issue is homelessness. And you'll be well aware from living in West Belfast, living in any part of Belfast, there is a certain level of homelessness. People who just don't have any permanent solution to what they could call a home. For me, the most important thing is for every person to have access to a roof over your head, where you can put down your head at night time and say, this is my home. So that was that's what DSD is about, helping people, whether it's in housing, whether it's in disadvantaged areas. We have a neighbourhood renewal programme. There are 36 neighbourhood renewal areas throughout Northern Ireland. There are about 13 in Belfast alone. And last week I was pleased to give funding of 7 million for those, to those areas. It's also about helping people who are in benefits. Well, we run the social security system. That's about people who haven't got a job but have access to a benefit system that helps them. Social Security Agency. It's about helping more money flow to children, child maintenance, to ensure that those, in the main, fathers, honour their responsibilities to their children. It's about sprucing up communities through either neighbourhood renewal or urban regeneration, like the city of Belfast, the centre of Belfast, the centre of towns, for example. I announced funding to start a scheme in my own town of Downpatrick some weeks ago. Last week I unveiled or opened the public, what we call public realm, which is really an environmental improvement scheme, new street lighting, new footpaths, a much better area to attract tourists in Newcastle. And that cost something like 3.6 million. And we're doing many of those schemes throughout Northern Ireland about bringing improvement to an area, attract tourism, attract investment, jobs for yourselves whenever the time is right for you to do that, whatever field you may choose. So that's what DSD is essentially about. The strapline says building communities through tackling disadvantage and deprivation. Basically that's about helping people.
There has been a high-impact, very visible campaign to encourage payment of child maintenance. How is that campaign progressing?
Well, I suppose go back several years ago, the British government brought in child support and the need for money to flow to children that hadn't been going to children because of parental breakdown, parents separating. And it's a very, very traumatic experience for the people involved in that, and above all for the children. The Child Support Agency had encountered several difficulties in trying to do its job properly. Whenever I became Minister, I decided that it would maybe be better to bring it in within the department, so it became known then as the Child Maintenance Enforcement Division. But I announced a campaign to get more money to flow to children, because there are some people, for lots of different reasons, and I don't apportion blame in this at all, because I think it's not right to do so. It's not right to be judgmental in these matters. Some people are facing very severe financial difficulties. But the important thing is that people live up to their responsibilities. If you have children, you should take responsibility for those children. That includes providing food for them on the table. To provide food, they need money. So the campaign is about ensuring that you give money to your children that are yours. That campaign was announced at the beginning of September and is progressing well. And my message is plain and simple. If you have children and they're not with you, you're living in another place, make sure that you contact our officials in the Child Maintenance Division.